What's up, everybody? I thought we'd do a little bit of a live demolding. I know everybody likes that, and I got to demold them anyway, so may as well fire up the stream. We did 3 blanks yesterday. We did a 4-inch PVC pipe with the faux pine cones. I got a little, this one's a little messy on the inside, so we'll have to kind of see how it looks, but it should probably turn out pretty cool. We did some shark vertebrae for some pen blanks, and we did the last 2 lotus pods, kind of like a handle blank type thing with a graffiti style. So I'm looking forward to it. Before we start, I'm going to quickly do this. I keep meaning to do this. So Matt sent me a sticker, so I thought we would, it's kind of reflective, so kind of crazy sticker. So thank you, Matt, for sending this in. I did not have one. He was asking if he had sent one. So let's see here. Where can we put Matt and get a camera in there as well to see it going up? My pressure pots, I have 4 pressure pots, and they're getting pretty crowded with stickers. You guys have been giving me lots of stickers. I'm thinking that maybe on that pot over there, it'll be kind of easy for me to just turn the camera. I'm going to clean it off a little bit. What ends up happening is we get a little bit of dust, especially after turning that gigantic pink monster. I had dust all over the place. So I'm going to hit it with a little bit of denatured alcohol just to kind of clean off any dust or anything else that's on there. And I think we'll put it, let's see here. Let me just kind of look around. I think we can kind of fit it. Let me look at it here. I don't want to cover up my PSI thing. I don't like putting it on the lids a whole lot. I think I'm going to find another spot because I think it's going to get kind of messed up there. So let me try and find a good camera view and a spot for it. Oh, there we go. We'll put him next to Kim. Hold on, guys. I found a good spot. I have one side of this pressure pot that is looking pretty good. So let me switch views real quick. Gotta get the stickers up. So we'll put it right, let's see here. Which one is it? This one. There we go. Kim's over there on the side of that one. Let me get a little bit more alcohol. I don't want it to fall off. It's a little bit dirty. I don't know what all this junk is. Every once in a while, you got to clean up the side of your pressure pot, you know, make it look pretty. And see if I can get this sticker off of here without too much trouble. I like the ones that have the little fold in them. Those things are awesome. I might have to get a, you know, it works pretty good. I grab a knife. I don't know if I'm on camera or not. I like to grab a knife and just kind of try and get it right between there. If all else fails, here's another trick. I don't know if this is on camera or not. Put it on the desk and just lightly score it. And then you make your own little doohickey. So you learned something new today, guys. How to put a sticker or get the backing off of a sticker when it doesn't have the little fold. All right, so back to the pressure pot. We'll put that one right there. Woo, look at that. Thanks, Matt. You're up there now. All right, so let's move this camera back into its original position. Something like that, I think. And then we'll see who's here. Say hello to everybody. I wanted to get that sticker done before I forgot, because I tend to forget. So let's see here. Man, lots of people are here. Mike McEwen, happy afternoon to you too. And of course, Julie's here, and Mert's here, Ray's here. Wow, lots of people are here. Steve's here, Habib's here, Ray's here, nice. Welcome everybody, and Bruce is here too, cool. If I missed you, I apologize. So let's, what do you guys want to see first? The 4-inch? That's probably the easiest. I don't need to even unscrew anything. So we'll switch to this view. We'll move these guys out of the way. And so, oh, look at that. That was easy. I didn't even have to take the plug out. Sometimes it happens that way. Sometimes it does. Sometimes not so much. All right, so I'm going to wipe it off a little bit. That tells me that there's probably some stoner on the outside, a little bit of gooiness. I don't like gooey. So it's a little bit different. It's got kind of some weird stuff going on in there. We added some gold metallic, and you can see, and I ended up, I kind of forgot. I was going to pour the gold in I was going to add about half the resin, pour some of this gold, and then pour half the resin, and then some more gold. And I kind of forgot, and we got it pretty thick. Or, you know, we poured a lot of the clear. So I was trying to kind of push it down, and I was also turning the pine cones around. So it got kind of smeared around, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting, especially look at this one. We also added some interference blue. Let's see, am I on camera? Can you guys see that? We're like down here. Try and get the camera to pick this up. It's kind of hard with the lighting, but see how the pine cone's kind of kicking back that blue, depending on how the light hits it. So it's kind of cool, interesting. We got the starlight glitter all over the place. Not too bad, actually. Different, definitely. And then there's the bottom. So we can make, you know, you could make a sphere or maybe like a box or something like that. I'm actually thinking maybe a box would be kind of cool with this. I might have to do that. I don't have a lot of experience with boxes. It's kind of one of those things where I got to really think about the steps, because I don't do them that much. But maybe I can kind of write a little cheat sheet down and make a box. I don't know. So we got that one. Oh, Billy joined us. Nice. And Steve's here. Melvin's here. Brian's here. Oh man, everybody's here. Woo! All right, so let's do the pen blanks next. Now, shoot, who was it? A few people I think were asking about why do I heat the molds? And actually, I didn't even heat these enough. I was talking about the temperature. And I have some rounded corners in there. Kind of didn't really, especially on that 2-inch one, kind of put that one in late. It's funny, the warmer it is in the shop, the like lower this thing can get sometimes. Sometimes it's the oven is what I was pointing at. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Temperature in the shop kind of affects how high that thing ends up getting, regardless of me changing the dial. Give it a couple taps. So you can see on the bottom, we did a couple of different things here. We and they all stayed in place. So that's pretty cool. So these are going to be 3 pen blanks. So we're going to get like the shark vertebrae, you know, what people typically see. I think that this is the orientation that you usually see in pen blanks. It's kind of standing up, and it looks kind of like a vertebrae. Spine thing. So we're going to get one pen blank that's like that, and then this one, the middle one's going to have a little bit of this kind of vertical or whatever standing up side, and then it's going to have some where we just stuck some down. So it's going to kind of clip a little bit of both of those. The middle one may be kind of I don't know, we'll have to see when I cut it up. And then the third one is going to capture all of these round ones, and so we'll have to kind of see what the difference is. But you can even see some of I think it's going to be pretty cool. Definitely this one we captured. This first one I think is what most people think of, but can't wait to see how this thing ends up turning out when I cut it up. We'll get a good indication once I hit it with the table saw. So I'll probably actually cut it up tonight. I got some other blanks to cut. So let's see, who else is joining the fun? Toby's here. What's up, man? Toby's down under. Toby just did an unboxing. I sent him a package of some goodies, and I am looking forward to seeing what he makes with that stuff. By the way, so you asked a couple questions. So it is pronounced that the cactus is cholla. That's just the like Spanish way of saying two double L's in Spanish is a Y sound. So it's cholla cactus is what that was, and I dye stabilized those. And then the other, so and one thing that you said, that's actually not the thing that got me into casting. It's sagebrush is the thing that's local here. They got it in Arizona too, but this is what the sagebrush stuff looks like. It's just kind of twigs. It's like a bush kind of thing. It's a little different than that cactus. That stuff you find down in Arizona, Texas, I think, and New Mexico, kind of this real southern area in the U.S. The real like super desert. So let's see if I can get this thing to come out. I might have to go. I don't know if I sprayed this one. I don't think I did. So you can kind of, that'll give you a kind of an idea. Oh, I need a new battery. It was like, I'm done. Game over, man. Replace me. So that'll kind of give you an indication, you know, that mold release definitely kind of helps when you're popping things out. There we go. That one sounds like it's got life in it. So the problem is I can't beat the top of this thing because the stuff is hanging out in there. So sometimes, there we go, sometimes I just try and kind of peel it a little bit on the sides. And then I'm gonna have to get a little mallet here. Got a little plastic one. What else? Was there any other questions about the stuff that I sent? Oh, and then the other thing, and I already mentioned it, but that other thing that was red is hemp wood. And that's kind of, a lot of people are kind of getting into that right now. This thing doesn't want to come out. Must be stuck on the bottom. So, guess I'm going to take off a side. So you can see, they don't always just pop right out. If I could just beat this on the, if this stuff wasn't sticking out, it would pop out if I just smacked it on the desk. Sometimes you don't have that option, really. It also helps to have kind of a little bit more, man, this stuff does not want to come out. Don't really want to mess up my mold. But it may force me to if it doesn't want to play fair. We'll just take the whole thing apart. Fine. Okay, so all we got left is this thing. So I'm going to stick it on the desk here. I'm going to try to just hold it and beat it off. Maybe not. I need a better desk than this one. So I'm going to go over here real quick. Pound it a little bit. There we go. You got to have a solid surface to beat it on. You know? It'll come off if you smack it enough. So this thing's looking cool. We did the graffiti effect. Oh man, I forgot to take it says glow. Oops. Steven wrote glow on the bottom of that. I didn't even think about it. That's in the blank. It'll probably turn off if you turn like a stopper or something, but that's kind of funny. But man, these two colors look really cool, I think. What do you think about that? Look at the end of that thing. That's pretty wicked. And so again, all I didn't go in and swirl it around or do anything. I let gravity just pull that stuff down into the blank. You know, I did dump, this is a pretty heavy amount for that graffiti effect. But that's kind of, I wanted to do that. I kind of purposefully did that. But the gravity is all that happened. I didn't do anything else. I just poured it, you know. And so depending on how you pour it, if you're extremely careful, you know, it may not go down as far. If you dump it kind of at a higher level and kind of pour a lot, it may kind of, you know, sink a little bit more. But I mean, really, this was actually pretty perfect. I mean, if you look at the bottom, it's not like there's a big pool, you know, it's not puddling up down on the bottom there. It was a pretty good amount, I would say. Good timing too. That's the other thing with this effect. You know, you might have to kind of test things out a little bit and kind of time it right. Like I said, there's a few components that go into that, but you know, overthinking it also. This graffiti effect, generally, you're going to get pretty good results regardless of any of that stuff. You know, just pour it kind of at that, you know, somewhere near the temperature that you would usually pour kind of color swirl blanks, and you should be fine regardless of all that other stuff. However, if you're trying to get, you know, something very specific, it may take some testing and playing around. So anyway, let me go up here and see what's going on. So we got 3 blanks, well, 3 bricks and a torn apart mold. I'll put that back together after I shut it off. But man, yeah, so this is looking pretty cool. So we did neon yellow and blood red in this one. It's kind of fiery vertebrae. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. Somebody's... Yeah, you can just hang out in whatever you're wearing to come to the live streams, guys. You don't have to worry about that. I mean, I'm thinking about just wearing underwear in the shop. The only problem is when I'm cutting blanks, you know, you get like sawdust and resin shavings all over you. That's not really that fun. I like having something on. So, is that what caused it? Oh, the round corner. Yeah, the round corners happens because the resin kind of ends up gravitating to the middle of the pour, you know, of the mass of the resin, the hottest part. It's going to kind of like, I want to go over to the warm part. So you get, you know, in the corners of square molds typically is when that happens. You can get that. I usually, and I'm finding like about 150, you know, trying to get your mold up to about 150 is usually, at that point, it usually works fine. So I'm kind of finding that I need to you know, turn up the thing a little bit, the toaster oven, get it up to that 150 mark. And then if I leave it in for about 20 minutes, that usually gets it good. And the thing you have to think about is these resins are going to reach, frankly, I don't know exactly what temperature they hit, but you know, we're temperature gauging these things. And I mean, I've seen it get up to 140 before it's even starting to really set up. And then I know that some epoxies go even higher than Alumilite clear slow set. That's kind of the reason why you can pour big amounts with Alumilite clear slow set. It doesn't overheat in large masses. So, you know, I'm guessing that these things hit 180, 200 degrees, who knows, at like the max temperature. So if your mold is like, you know, 80 degrees, that's cold for, you know, compared to the resin. And so that's why I like heating things up. It'll allow the resin to kind of relax and not feel like it's got to, you know, the outsides of that thing are really cold. So that's what causes that corner creep. In some cases, you know, like I do also think, you know, stoner mold, any kind of mold release that you put on there, the resin doesn't like it, obviously. It's not going to want to stick to it. It doesn't. And so that can, you know, it could make it kind of creep a little bit back also, possibly. But the corner creep thing, I'm pretty sure that that's just a temperature issue. So let's see here. It is the week for sticker sticking. Definitely. Cool. Anyway, yeah, so that was it. It's just a quick one today. I am curious about this one. You know, I mean, it's not the most like flashy, amazing blank with the colors that we chose, and then I kind of swirled it up. But at the same time, it looked like, so I forget, what did somebody say on the stream? They said it would look like oatmeal or something like that. Or, you know, I was like really stirring and trying to get that gold down in there. And really looking at this thing, it doesn't look like just nasty or anything like that. By twisting it around, it actually kind of feathered the resin. So let me switch to this other view, just so you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing in this. Let's see if that works. See how it's kind of feathering in there and like wrapping around the pine cones. I know there's a light. Let me see if let me try and get my light a little bit higher so it's maybe not causing that reflection thing as much. See how it's, I don't know. In some areas, it kind of is flowing around the pine cones. I'm drifting off the camera. I'm looking at the screen to make sure that I'm, you know, so it's kind of cool. It's different. Probably not a color I would have picked, but I do think that once we turn it up, once you get you've cut into the pine cones and all that stuff, I think it's going to look kind of cool. And another reason why I said, you know, let's maybe make a box with this. If you want to kind of clear things up a little bit, you know, this is a thick mass right here, trying to look through 4 inches directly. But if we hollow out the center, it's not going to be nearly as thick. And so it might be kind of an interesting blank to do something like that with. So just wanted to kind of mention that. It's always interesting, you know, when you're casting stuff. You never know, you know, sometimes there's a lot of things that I've poured and I'm like, oh man, I totally screwed that up. Because really I was kind of like, we'll see, that wasn't my best, that wasn't the best job I've ever done. But at the same time, I kind of knew, like, let's just wait and see. And sometimes I thought, oh, you know, this is going to be the greatest thing on earth, and you pull it out and you're like, wow, I totally blew that one. So that's the one thing about resin casting. It really depends on, you know, we'll see. In the case of pen blanks, you know, looking at the top of this, that's not really the most amazing looking thing. It's mostly the kind of red, and it almost looks like it's kind of bled together a little bit. The top surface is absolutely no indication of what the inside of a pen blank looks like right when you pull it out. So with pen blanks, you really have to cut into them to see what you got, because I think, you know, 80% of the time the inside is a totally different story. So did I get your sticker? I don't know. I don't know. Did I lose the sticker? I don't know. I'm looking on my desk of where I would have maybe put it. Let me double check at home. Maybe it got kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure, Julie. Let me look for it. It seems like maybe you did, but I'm not sure. So let me double check before we do anything about that. Yeah, I think it'll be a kind of a cool little box, as long as I can turn it into a nice, do a decent job on it. I've made a few boxes before. You know, they're not that hard. It takes me longer than normal, let's say, just because you have that extra, you know, the top, and you got to part it off, and there's extra things going on. So, you know, I've made little kind of, you know, whatchamacallit boxes and stuff. This was actually just, I think I turned this to test the negative rate cutters before they came out, and I just kind of really slapped it together. But you can see my lid is nowhere close. I didn't fit it right, you know. But anyway, so I've done them before. Just it adds one extra kind of level of complexity to a project, and you know, a lot of times I'm like, well, I know how to turn a pen without even thinking about it, so, or something, you know, a bowl or something like that. Can I hold the blanks on the other side of the window? Well, here, how about this? Let me just do this. Then there's no window blocking anything. I'm really digging this one. Really like the colors. I think this one with the mother of pearl and the blue and pink, that's going to be a pretty killer, whatever you make out of it. And then this says glow. That's hilarious. I forgot to wipe that off. And then this one, of course. It's kind of cool looking. It's different, you know. Like I said, these aren't colors that I would have probably chosen, but I think it's gonna be a nice looking box. You know, kind of feels like it lends itself to a box. Let's see here. Immediately contract from temp differentials. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's what I said, but yeah. Let's see. I'm just scrolling up, guys. Just scrolling up to see if I missed any questions or anything like that. Habib tried a new resin, deep pour epoxy, 7 hours working time, 3 days in a pressure pot. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing, like a lot of people say, which resin should I use? Or why don't you use, you know, this one or that one? And a lot of it comes down to, there really aren't many resins that work like Alumilite Clear, where, you know, yes, you only have, you know, you can say you only have like maybe at the, you know, kind of at the most like 12 to 15 minutes, which for most of the things that I do, that's plenty of time. You know, sometimes I may be kind of rushing things a little bit, but there are certain things that I can't do in that limited amount of time. And I use an epoxy. I use liquid diamonds typically, depending on the circumstances. But that's my problem with the slow setting resins, is I don't like the long working time. I don't need 45 minutes to mix colors up. I usually, you know, I got to mix them, set them aside, go do something else pretty much, because I'm not going to stare at them for 30 minutes. then come back, pour them, and then you have this, 9-hour, like an overnight minimum, an overnight kind of thing for your, before you can take them out of the pressure pot. And a lot of it also has to do with that I make pen blanks, and I'd much rather just, be turning over my pressure pots a lot faster. Another thing a lot of people say is that you can make, okay, you have all this working time and it has to stay in the pressure pot. So why not make, 100 blanks or, like a ton of them at a time. I only make usually like 6 blanks, pen blanks at a time right now. The problem is, regardless, and most of the stuff that I make is like a color swirl thing, or it requires me to wait till the end of the working time. That's another kind of a catch-22 with that, is so you have 45 minutes of working time, but you really don't have much more time at the end of the working time, like when you have to wait to pour. It's not like there's significantly more time that you have that you can, pour those colors together before it starts setting up. So that's why I like Alumilite Clear Slow Set. It kind of is perfect kind of in the middle thing. And I kind of like the way it turns a little bit better. But, it's with every resin, there's always drawbacks. So, if you're in a really humid area, if humidity things are a problem, then probably not necessarily the best idea to use a urethane-based resin. So, it just depends on what you like, I guess. Yak's here. What's up, man? Jacob's here. Wow, lots of people. So you guys are some of you guys are joining right at the end because we're going to pretty much shut her down here in a second. But let's just show you guys that are just joining the party. We got them all pulled out already. And let's see here. Is it this one? Yeah. So we did the 2-inch block and kind of did sort of a graffiti pour with some fluorescent blue and pink. And these are lotus pods in here. Fake lotus pods. So pretty neat looking. I'm really happy. I really kind of nailed what I had in mind with the graffiti look. These kind of swirlies. It was good, well timed, and all that kind of stuff. It turned out good. And then we did some pen blanks with the shark vertebrae, and we did some that are kind of standing up. And I think that this is kind of the way that people orient them in a pen blank. I'm going to be cutting 3 out of this. But then you can see I put 3 of them in laying flat on this side. So this one pen blank on this side here is going to be like the kind of normal one. The middle is going to be kind of almost a hybrid of both of these kind of orientations, and then this one is going to be just this way. So we'll get a look at what the difference is. How do they look once I cut them up. And then we did a 4-inch blank with some fake pine cones in there. And this one I kind of didn't do as well as I had hoped when I was pouring it. I didn't do things exactly right, but it actually turned out pretty interesting. So we did some gold metallic. You might be able to see there's some interference blue in there as well. And then there's obviously, you guys can see all the starlight glitter. Might have added a little too much starlight. It's kind of packed in there, but anyway, I was kind of thinking about maybe turning a lidded box for this. I think that might kind of tame some of the how busy it is in there. But yeah, they look pretty good, I think. You guys picked some good colors as usual. So let's see here. Let me just double check. Doug's here now. What's up, man? Let's see. We'll just scroll down and make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, well, and it's actually, I wasn't kind of like saying that, oh, you shouldn't try other resins. I actually think, a lot of people that say, oh, which one should I choose? I'm just getting into it. I'm kind of like, why don't you buy a little bit of 2 or 3 types, like that act differently, and just kind of see which one you like the best, because sometimes, you may like one better. Like, I really cannot stand polyester resin. I don't want to use that ever. It smells terrible, and it's got some other problems. It's really chippy when you turn it. So, that one, I am like, no, I don't even give it to me. I don't want to use it. I have no problem using epoxies or Alumilite and probably, a handful of other ones. But, out of all those things, like, I'm like, don't give me polyester resin. So, and a lot of people really like it. So, it is cheap. I think that's the only thing going for it, but for me, in my eyes. But yeah, so yeah, give it a try. Try different things out, you know, and I think it also helps you to understand more. You know, the more things that you have a little bit of experience with, at least tried, you know, it's not like it can hurt you in any way. You might also find that you know, there's a few things that you really like about the one that you were using. Each resin, I haven't tried that many resins, but you know, I've tried like stone coat stuff and liquid diamonds, Alumilite, a few different ones from Alumilite. Trying to think, Entropy, you know, I've tried a few. It's not like I've tried a billion different resins, but each one kind of has its own little things about it that I've found also. You know, so there may be one that kind of seems like it works a little bit better for you. So it's always worth trying different things out, especially if you're, you know, depending on what types of things you're doing also. I also kind of recommend if for people that are thinking about getting into resin casting, and somebody was asking a question about, I can't remember the specific question. I think it was on Friday's stream. They were saying like, oh, I want to do, you know, this type of a thing. Which resin would you recommend? And it's something that I don't really do, whatever it was. And I'm kind of like, well, it kind of makes sense to just, you know, we have YouTube, right? And so I know that in turning, there's a lot of things that work pretty well for turning in general, I would say. But you know, if you're doing something very specific, I would say that, you know, find people that know what they're doing, do that same thing very well. And see what they use and try that resin, because chances are they've probably already tried a handful of things and that works best for that application. So just kind of another little tip. But if you're doing turning blank stuff, I mean, you know which ones most of the turners use, and they work pretty well for turning. My favorite, you know, for turning applications is the Alumilite Clear Slow Set for the most part. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing these things pop out. This thing, I can't wait to get this thing cleaned up. I'll get it kind of cut a little bit and just kind of, you know, clean up the edges. And then this one's going to be very interesting. Pen blanks especially, you know, you got to kind of wait till you cut them to see what's inside and see what they're looking like. And frankly, a lot of times you don't even know at that point. You got to turn it to see what it's going to really look like. So that one will be kind of interesting. And then this one, we'll have to do something with this. So like I said, I think it's probably time that I made another lidded box. And see, the other thing is, just because there's pine cones in it, a lot of people I just know that Pam has made some pine cone boxes, and I think Doug has too. Pine cone projects, especially with boxes, seem to be kind of popular anyway. People kind of end up liking them. So that's another reason why I was kind of like, well, maybe a box for this. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. I don't think there's anything else that I need to mention, really. I'm trying to think if there's any other news or anything. I don't think so. So there won't be I'm not going to have a video up tomorrow. I was out of town last week, kind of, and so anyway, no video tomorrow. I do have, but I am working on a couple of pretty cool project videos that are hopefully going to be coming very soon. It's going to take a little bit of coordinating and planning to get these things going, but I'm pretty excited about them. So be looking for those coming up soon, hopefully. I haven't started them yet necessarily though. So anyway, thanks for joining the fun, guys, and I will see you guys all on the next stream, probably on Wednesday next week, and I'm going to figure something out. Maybe we'll start working on a box on Wednesday. We'll have to kind of see about that. I might have something else that kind of takes its place and moves in first, but I want to do some sort of a project thing on Wednesday, and then next Friday we'll do some more resin casting. So anyway, guys, have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys on the next stream.